Truth. Linear time is a lie. The code is fractal. What if everything you believe about time is wrong? We've been taught that time is a straight line. Past behind us, future ahead, and we're just marching forward like programmed units in a cosmic conveyor belt. But what if I told you that's just a story, a program, a designed illusion to keep your consciousness trapped in a loop? The real truth? Time is not linear. Time is fractal. And once you understand that, the matrix code begins to break down before your very eyes. Welcome back to the channel, Legends. If you're new here, salute et bienvenue. And if you've been riding with me for a while, massive love to you. You already know this channel is your rabbit hole to the raw truth of this realm. Before we jump deep, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a drop of soul truth. And if you feel called to support this mission, you can send a love gift through PayPal, links down below. Now, real quick, check out my soul frequency gear. Hats, tees, and high vibe were in both English and French, because this awakening wave is global. Also, my crystalline burn tea is coming soon. Detox for your body and clarity for your soul. Keep watching for the launch of my 3 powerful ebooks and my massive 650-page paperback book that's going to shake this whole system when it hits Amazon. Also coming out soon. All right, let's crack the code. Truth. Linear time is a lie. The code is fractal. To understand how linear time became a prison, we have to go back, way back, beyond history, beyond this Earth system, back to the architects of this illusion. The truth is, time was never linear in the original source blueprint. In source reality, everything exists simultaneously. There's no past, no future, just a unified field of now. Infinite experiences, infinite moments, coexisting in a complex fractal dance of energy. So what happened? Why did we fall into a line? The answer: control. When the soul creators fractured off from source to explore separation, curiosity turned into chaos. Some beings discovered that by installing a linear time program, they could manipulate entire worlds. Because once you believe you're stuck in a timeline, you could be controlled by fear, by regret, by hope, by waiting, by aging, by death. It was a genius trap. Linear time wasn't invented by nature. It was coded by designers of the Matrix to suppress your infinite access to all timelines, all powers, all outcomes right now. When you're locked into linearity, you become predictable. You wake up, go to work, come home, grow old, die, thinking that's all there is. But your soul is timeless. It doesn't move through time. It creates time. So how does the Matrix keep this illusion of linear time alive? Simple. Reinforcement, repetition, ritual. From the moment you're born, the coding begins. You're given a birth date, not a soul origin. You're told your age, not your vibration. Clocks become your god. Calendars become your master. You wake up by an alarm. You go to school by a bell. You eat by a schedule. You chase deadlines, wait for the weekend, count the years. But here's the catch. All of it is artificial. These tools, clocks, schedules, holidays, work weeks, are not organic. They're systems of energetic entrainment. They anchor your consciousness into a simulated grid that loops over and over. Ever notice how days blur together? Weeks vanish? Years fly by? That's not your memory slipping. That's the program working. Linear time isn't just a belief. It's a loop you're taught to live in. Even birthdays are part of the trap, turning a spiritual evolution into a number game. You're not getting older. You're just cycling, unless you wake up. But here's the key. You don't have to follow the loop. The moment you realize time is a man-made interface, not a divine law, you start to bend it. You begin to remember how your soul once operated, in waves and spirals, and now. So if time isn't linear, what is it? Time is fractal. It spirals, folds, repeats, and mirrors itself in ways your logical mind was never programmed to detect. But your soul, it knows. It's been watching the loop from outside the loop all along. Fractal time means that reality unfolds in patterns, not lines. Just like a fern, a nautilus shell, or a snowflake, life repeats itself in infinitely complex variations, but always built from the same fundamental code. Have you ever experienced déjà vu? That strange feeling that you've been here before? That's not a glitch. That's a fracture in the illusion, a moment where timelines collapse and your awareness slips into higher recognition. You're not re-experiencing something. You're remembering that time echoes. Fractal time means all versions of you, past, present, future, exist right now. All your lifetimes are running simultaneously. Your past self is still exploring. Your future self is watching you. So they say. But the truth is there's only ever now. So therefore you have self only in the now. And that's why healing, manifestation, and awakening can happen instantly. You're not waiting for the right moment. You're collapsing the moment into now. This is why the Matrix teaches linearity. Because if you realize this truth, you'd start collapsing timelines instead of following them. You'd remember that you can jump, that you can bend, that you can choose new patterns, not repeat old ones. And that's when the Matrix loses its grip. Fractal patterns aren't just out there in space. They're embedded in your life. Your relationships, your struggles, your triumphs. They loop, echo, and repeat. Not because you're cursed, but because your soul is trying to show you the code. Let's say you keep attracting the same kind of relationship, or you always hit the same wall with money, health, or self-worth. That's not bad luck. That's a fractal loop playing out in your field. The Matrix uses this to trap you, but your powerful now self uses it to awaken you. Here's the kicker. Every pattern is a map, a mirror, a message. It shows you where your beliefs are encoded. It shows you where your soul has unfinished business. We call this karma or soul contracts, but it's really just repeating timelines until you choose differently. Want to break a loop? Start spotting the fractal. Instead of asking, why does this keep happening to me? Ask what part of me is recreating this pattern again. Every choice, every emotional reaction, every belief you carry is like a stone dropped into the fractal pond. It ripples outward into your future. And once you become aware of that, you're no longer a victim of the loop. You're a creator of the pattern. That's when things and patterns dissolves. That's when time collapses. That's when you take your power back. Because you realize this isn't about time. It's about choice. Even science is catching up. What mystics, shamans, and ancient civilizations have always known, that time flows in cycles, not lines, is now being echoed in cutting-edge physics. Let's break it down. In quantum theory, particles don't exist in one fixed state or location. They exist in probabilities, infinite versions of outcomes coexisting in a field. Time, in the quantum realm, is not a straight path. It's a mesh of overlapping realities, a multiverse of moments where every possibility is already real. Then there's sacred geometry, the language of the universe. The Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, and Mandelbrot sets, all of them reveal the same truth. Nature creates in fractals, not straight lines. Galaxies spiral like shells. Trees grow in repeating codes. Even your heartbeat follows a fractal rhythm. Now here's where it gets wild. Your DNA is structured in spirals. And when activated fully, it behaves like an antenna, tuning you into frequencies across timelines. This is why ancient civilizations didn't use clocks the way we do. They used the stars, the seasons, the cycles of the cosmos. Time was seen as sacred rhythm, not mechanical measurement. And what did the ancients build? Pyramids, temples, stone circles, all laid out in fractal alignments with cosmic patterns. The ancients weren't primitive. They were tuned in. They knew the Matrix would one day rise. But they left the blueprints behind, in symbols, in sky maps, in your cells. So while modern science clings to linearity, those in the know are remembering. Time bends, time loops, time expands. And those who master the spiral, master reality. So how do you break free from linear time while still walking inside the matrix? It starts with awareness. You can't escape a program until you see it. So every time you catch yourself saying, I don't have time, I'm running out of time, I'm too old / too late / too stuck. Stop, pause, and realize that's matrix code speaking. Here's what you do instead. Start playing with time. Slow it down. Try meditating for 10 minutes and watch how time stretches. Speed it up. Get into flow, creating, dancing, writing, building, and time dissolves. Bend it. Set intentions to jump timelines. Act from yourself in the now. Speak as if your manifestation already exists, because in the fractal field, it does. Another key, unplug from time rituals. You don't have to wake, work, eat, or sleep based on clocks anymore. Start listening to your own rhythm, your soul's spiral. The more you honor it, the more the illusion weakens. Also, begin tracking patterns, not hours. Notice when certain themes return. What seasons bring what energy? What days feel expansive? That's your personal fractal signature, your code trying to reveal itself. And finally, forgive time. Forgive your past. Stoop fearing the future. Stoop thinking you missed your chance or wasted your years. Because in fractal time, nothing is lost. Every version of you still exists, waiting to be integrated. That's not fantasy, that's powerful truth. Before the matrix, before the fall, before the distortion, there was only source. Pure consciousness, endless possibility. No time, no space, just being. But even in that stillness, there was a longing, a pull to explore, create, and experience contrast. And so, Source fractaled. It split, not in anger, but in curiosity. Not in chaos, but in design. Each soul that emerged was a holographic fractal of the whole, containing all of Source within. And with that came the first layer of time, not as limitation, but as movement, rhythm, expansion. Time was fluid, organic, intuitive. But somewhere along the way, certain creator beings chose control over freedom. They began to distort the code. Instead of time as a spiral, they encoded it as a line. Instead of freedom of choice, they programmed repetition. This was the birth of the Matrix Grid, a hijacked simulation designed to loop souls into forgetfulness. But here's the part the controllers didn't count on. The fractal can't be broken. Even in distortion, the original code remains. Buried in your cells, in your dreams, in your deja vu moments, in the stars, in the crystals, in the art you're drawn to, in the wild visions that visit you when you least expect it. You are not stuck in this system. You're a creator of it. And the moment you remember that, the whole simulation begins to shake. The game only works when the players forget they wrote it. But now, we're remembering. So what happens when you fully unplug from linear time? The illusion begins to bend. You start to experience strange phenomena, what some call glitches, downloads, or timeline jumps. But they're not accidents. They're signs that you've cracked the simulation. Let's start with time slips. Ever walked into a room and forgot what you came for? Not because you're distracted, but because you literally feel like you entered a different energy? That's not forgetfulness. That's a timeline shift. Or maybe you've noticed. Words you're sure were spelled one way are now different. Logos look off. Movie lines don't say what you remember. People recall events completely differently from you. That's the Mandela effect. These are fracture points in the code, echoes from parallel timelines bleeding through as your consciousness shifts. And when you stoop clinging to the past, you begin to collapse time entirely. Some call this Ascension, but it's really a frequency upgrade. You become present enough to see all versions of you. You heal across lifetimes, because in fractal time, all lifetimes are right here. You manifest faster, because you're no longer sending desires into a distant future, but pulling outcomes from other versions of now. Your dreams become more real. Your intuition becomes your compass. You start getting information from nowhere, because it's actually from everywhere. This is what it means to exit time. Not physically disappear, but spiritually disengage from the system's limitations. And when enough of us do this, the Matrix can't run the same loops, because the loops require belief. And we're done believing in limits. If time is a lie, then who built the calendar? Let's zoom in on the mechanics of control. Linear time didn't just show up randomly. It was embedded into your reality by design, especially through systems like the Gregorian calendar. Most people don't even question it. 12 months, 365 days, leap years, New Year's on January 1 SD. But why? Because this calendar was pushed by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582, replacing older cosmic aligned systems like the Mayan, Egyptian, and lunar cycles. Why? Because the new calendar disconnected humanity from nature and plugged them into mechanical, church-sanctioned time. The same way your clock tells you what to do every hour, the calendar became a psychic net, forcing souls to live in a rhythm that has nothing to do with their actual energy. Think about it. Work week equals loop. Weekend equals release. January 1st equals reset. December 31st equals death of the old cycle. But these are just numbers on a piece of paper, and yet billions of people let them shape their identity, goals, fears, and memories. That's no accident, because if you control the calendar, you control the collective frequency. You keep people chasing resolutions, fearing age, waiting for the right time. But the true cosmic rhythm, it follows the moon, the sun, the stars, and your own inner clock. Every civilization that honored real time, natural time, evolved spiritually and connected to higher realms. And every time society got hijacked, false time was installed. So ask yourself, what calendar are you actually living by? If the Gregorian calendar is the macro loop, then modern tech is the micro loop, and it's running 24/7 in your pocket. Let's talk about the digital time trap. Smartphones were never just about connection. They were designed to hijack your attention, fragment your focus, and lock your consciousness into 1,000 tiny cycles per day. Think about it. You check your phone, see a message, react, check a notification, scroll, get distracted, loop again. This creates what I call fractured presence, where your awareness is split between timelines, always chasing, never arriving. And that's exactly how the Matrix wants it. Because when your attention is fractured, you can't access fractal time. You can't feel the now. You're stuck reacting, not creating. Social media is designed like a casino. Swipe, ping, ding, flash. All of it operates on variable rewards, the same psychological pattern used to addict gamblers. And what's worse, every app is time-stamped. Every message, every post, every comment. You're trained to think in updates, in feeds, in rapid loops. You don't live your day anymore. You scroll it. And in doing so, you anchor yourself into a digital time matrix, one where the algorithm is God and presence becomes a ghost. But here's the move. Turn notifications off. Take time away from screens. Unplug your nervous system from the endless loop. Then go outside. Watch the clouds. Listen to wind. Breathe in rhythm. Let your soul retune to the source spiral. Because only when you step out of the digital matrix can you feel real time again, the timeless pulse that's been waiting for you to come home. If waking life is a program, then sleep is your backdoor into the source field. Most people think dreams are random, scattered thoughts, emotional recycling. But that's what the Matrix wants you to believe. In truth, Your dreams are nonlinear experiences playing out across the fractal network of self. When you dream, you're not just processing, you're traveling. You're meeting other versions of you across timelines, lifetimes, and dimensions. Some dreams are coded memories. Others are alternate realities. Some are symbolic messages from your higher fractal. And some, they're direct downloads, transmissions from your superconscious, slipping past the firewall of your waking ego. Ever had a dream where time made no sense? You lived a year and a night. You knew people you've never met. You jumped scenes like skipping through files. That's fractal perception, your soul reminding you that time isn't real. Here's where it gets wild. You can train yourself to become lucid inside that dream field and use it to connect with parallel versions of you who've already unlocked parts of the code. This isn't fantasy, it's quantum memory. Because if all versions of you exist at once, then you can literally merge with the healed, awakened fractals of yourself. Here's how you start. Keep a dream journal. Treat every dream like a message. Ask a question before sleep. What does my true self want me to see? Practice staying aware as your body sleeps. The bridge between waking and dream is thin. Set the intention. I want to meet the me who remembers the source code. This is how soul contact begins. Because the you that broke the matrix already exists, and dreams are the wormhole that brings you together. Want to know the most effective way the matrix traps you in linear time? Trauma. Because trauma doesn't just hurt, it locks you into a moment and freezes your energy there. When something intense happens, emotional shock, betrayal, loss, violence, your nervous system can't process it all. So what does it do? It splits. Your body moves on, but a piece of you, a fragment, stays behind, reliving the loop. And just like that, your personal timeline is no longer fluid. It's broken into loops of pain. You might be 33 years old in the physical, but you're still 7 inside, where that wound never healed. Still 14 when that heartbreak hit. Still 21 when the betrayal cracked your trust. And guess what? The matrix feeds off those splits. Because as long as you're stuck in yesterday, you're easier to control today. Trauma creates the illusion that healing takes years. But healing isn't about time, it's about integration. It's about bringing those fragmented pieces back into your now, holding them with love, and allowing your soul to collapse the loop. Here's how to begin. When something triggers you, pause. Don't run. Feel it fully. Ask yourself, how old do I feel right now? Trace the feeling to the original moment, the loop's entry point. Speak to that version of you like a guardian. You're safe now. I've got you. Visualize the spiral, not the line, and pull that fragment back into your heart. This is trauma healing through the fractal lens. Not linear therapy, not years of talking. Just presence, power, and self-love spiraling you back into wholeness. Because the soul that's whole can't be trapped. The matrix made you think you're just flesh and bone. But your body, when fully activated, is a crystalline vessel of light. And its evolution is directly tied to your relationship with time. You've probably heard of the light body or the rainbow body in ancient teachings. These are metaphors. They're blueprints, reminders that your physical form is designed to phase shift, to ascend frequency, and to operate beyond 3D constraints like time, gravity, and decay. And here's the kicker. Your DNA isn't just a biological code. It's a fractal antenna. Only 2 strands are active in most people. The rest labeled junk by modern science. But that junk? It's dormant technology, crystalline code, waiting for activation through vibration, intention, light exposure, and time collapse. Because time, as the Matrix designed it, ages you. But time, as your soul experiences it, upgrades you. When you stop aging linearly and start spiraling through time consciously, your cells begin to regenerate differently. Light comes in, old trauma leaves, and the crystalline grid within you, the sacred geometry of your cells, starts lighting up like a multidimensional circuit board. This is ascension from the inside out. You're not escaping Earth. You're transforming how you exist within it. Symptoms of activation may include heat or chills when meditating, seeing geometric patterns with eyes closed, synchronicities speeding up, cravings for clean food, herbs, and raw living light, sleep shifts, vivid dreams, or dreamtime visitations, sensitivity to time itself, hours feeling like minutes, or vice versa. These aren't side effects. They're reboots. Your body is remembering how to exist outside of linear decay. And the key to this evolution? Stillness, presence, sovereign time. Because your crystalline system doesn't respond to chaos, it responds to coherence. When your inner world flows like a spiral, your cells begin to reflect the same intelligence. There's a reason the Matrix is afraid of stillness. Stillness isn't doing nothing. It's the gateway out of time. See, in the noise of life, the distractions, deadlines, doom scrolling, you're kept in reaction mode. You're always running, chasing, solving, fixing. But when you become still, something wild happens. You exit the linear race. You slip into the now. And in that space, time dissolves. Mystics, monks, and awakened beings throughout history all knew this secret. Stillness isn't just peace, it's access. In stillness, you reconnect to the field, the quantum intelligence that exists outside the program. You begin to receive information in ways that bypass logic. Suddenly, you just know something. You feel timelines shifting. You sense your guides. You unlock a memory that was never taught because it was encoded in your soul the whole time. And here's what they never told you. Stillness bends time. When you pause, truly pause, time stretches. You can fit hours of insight into 5 minutes. Moments feel eternal. You become aware of the infinite layers of now all stacked together. This is why meditation, breath work, prayer, and even walking in silence are such powerful tools. They're not spiritual fluff, they're time portals. And the Matrix hates them. That's why it keeps you busy. Why it glorifies hustle. Why it rewards chaos and speed, but punishes rest. But rest is where the reset lives. Your soul doesn't move fast. It moves deep. And when you align with your soul's rhythm, you start syncing with the true flow of reality, not the artificial timelines they created to box you in. Try this. Take 10 minutes a day to do absolutely nothing. No phone, no stimulation. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Let it move like a wave, not a machine. Don't chase thoughts, just observe them. Imagine stepping outside the timeline. See yourself floating in the spiral. The more you do this, the more you break the illusion that life must be rushed. Because the truth is, when you're present, everything arrives faster. So what does life look like when you're no longer trapped in linear time? It feels different. It breathes different. Because when you're not racing the clock, you start creating from the inside out, not the outside in. Here's what begins to shift. You stop obsessing over goals and start aligning with frequency. In linear time, you're told to set deadlines, milestones, 5-year plans. But in fractal time, it's not about when, it's about vibration. You become what you want to receive. You tune into it. And then it arrives without you chasing. You release guilt over the past. You stop replaying old mistakes and trauma like worn-out VHS tapes. Because now you know that version of you still exists in a loop, and you can send love backward through the spiral. You can rewrite the echo, not with words, but with awareness. You stop fearing the future. The future isn't a place anymore. It's a reflection of what you're anchoring now. When you stay present, you notice how quickly your intentions ripple out and how time responds to your field. You detach from external validation. Linear timelines are built on comparison. Am I doing better than them? Did I succeed fast enough? Am I late in life? Fractal time dissolves that. You realize no one is ahead of you or behind you. They're just in their own spiral. You feel guided. Synchronicities multiply. Signs show up. It's like the universe starts whispering in a language only your soul can hear. You don't need to know everything because you feel everything. This is how we were meant to live. Not rushing, not regretting, not waiting, but existing in a living frequency where the past can be healed, the future can be magnetized, and the now becomes your creative playground. Want to try it? Here's a simple fractal time practice. Pick a recurring pattern in your life, something that loops: emotion, situation, relationship. Ask, what belief or fear is creating this spiral? Visualize the loop not as a mistake, but as a lesson ring, circling back so you can choose differently. Forgive yourself inside the loop. Then do something new, even a small action. That breaks the pattern. You just shifted timelines. Because in fractal time, a single choice can echo through all versions of you. Let's talk about something most timelines never teach. Joy is nonlinear. We've been programmed to believe happiness comes in stages. First the grind, then the reward. Suffer now, celebrate later. But in fractal time, joy is the path, not the prize. It's not the end of the spiral, it's the fuel that spins it. When you allow joy now, even in small, sacred ways, you shift the vibration of your entire field. You stop leaking energy into the not yet. You start radiating a frequency that bends time in your favor. Joy collapses distance between you and your desires, because it aligns you with the version of you who already has what you're waiting for. Let that land. You don't earn peace. You don't deserve rest. You don't have to finish your healing before you can feel light again. Those are matrix rules. The real code? Laughter is a shortcut through the spiral. Beauty is a portal. Music, dancing, creativity, they all untangle you from the time web and drop you into the timeless now. That's why the world feels so serious right now. Because joy is rebellion. And in a controlled system, freedom through bliss is a threat. So don't wait to be happy. Be fractal. Find your joy in weird places. In rain, in silence, in your breath, in art, in hugs, in sacred weirdness. Because the more you practice joy for no reason, the more you step outside the loop that says, you have to earn your worth. This is the truth. You are already enough. You don't need to do more. You just need to remember who you are underneath the programming. And joy, that's a memory. It's your soul humming through the noise. It's a signal that you're syncing with your original frequency. The one that existed before time was broken into hours and days and deadlines. Start using joy as a time tool. When life feels heavy, stagnant, or slow, don't try to fix it linearly. Just raise your joy frequency and watch how reality responds. Because joy is more than a feeling. It's a fractal accelerator. By now, something inside you probably feels different. Not because I gave you new facts, but because your memory is unlocking. You've known this truth all along. You felt the pressure of time without ever agreeing to it. You've heard the whispers in the silence saying, this isn't the way it was meant to be. And you were right. Time was twisted. The spiral was flattened. But your soul remembered the curve. So what now? Now, you live differently. You begin to notice the patterns. You listen deeper. You move with intention, not urgency. You choose actions based on alignment, not artificial deadlines. You start trusting that your healing isn't late, that your joy isn't selfish, that your timeline isn't broken, that your power was never truly lost, only dormant. You live in the spiral now. And the spiral doesn't ask for perfection. It only asks for presence. You will still have moments where the old-time code creeps in. That's okay. Just notice it. Pause, breathe, and choose again. You're no longer a prisoner in a timeline. You're a traveler in a living map, with full access to every version of yourself that has ever existed or will ever exist. And your awareness? That's the steering wheel. This message reached you on time. Not because the clock said so, but because your frequency was ready. Everything in this realm is shifting. The matrix is cracking, and souls like you are stepping back into the seed of creation. You don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to chase timelines that were never yours. You don't have to earn your freedom. You already are the key. Just remember, time is not your enemy. Time is not your master. Time is a mirror, and you're the code it reflects. You are a fractal expression of Source. You bend time by living fully now. And every conscious breath you take sends ripples into infinite versions of yourself, awakening, healing, aligning. So go forward, not as a survivor of time, but as a designer of reality. Let the spiral carry you. Let the moment expand you. Let your joy become your signature, the signal that you're free. If this message hit your soul, show some love. Like the video, share it with someone who's ready to wake up. Subscribe so you never miss a drop. Want to support the mission? You can send a donation through PayPal. Every gift helps keep the content flowing from source to screen. My 3 ebooks are out, each one diving deeper into the codes, the soul journey, and the escape from the matrix. My Crystalline Burn Detox tea will also be launching soon. A powerful blend to purge what no longer serves and ignite your inner light. And stay tuned for my 650-page paperback, packed with deep truths, activations, and the real story behind this game we call life. Coming soon to Amazon. Watch for the release date. You can also wear the Shift with Soul Frequency gear, hats, tees, and more, all in English and now in French. Because this movement is global and the message is universal. Until next time, stay fractal, stay powerful, stay source. You are never late. You are always infinite. The Matrix Source Creator